Hey guys, we're going to learn how to animate in Blender today. We're going to be animating from this practice file, and I'll show you what mine ended up looking like and some of the things that we're going to learn how to do. You can see some of the animations that are happening here in mine, and I'm going to show you how to do all that stuff. So I'm going to open up the practice file. And when you download this from Canvas, you should see something like this when you open it up. And we are going to take a look at the timeline here. This should look familiar. We looked at the timeline back when we did 2D animation. And similarly, we're going to be setting some keyframes. And we're going to start off just with some transformation keyframes. We're going to move, scale, and rotate stuff and set some keyframes to move it. Okay, so we'll start off with that. And then we'll do a couple other types of animation here within the scene. So to start off, I want to have this green guy. Let's have him bounce up and down. So we're just going to have his head move up and down. Okay. And what we'll do is I'm going to hit I on my keyboard, and that's going to set a keyframe. Okay, so I'm hitting I. Now I'm going to move this keyframe out to about here, and then I'm going to hit G, Z to move him up. I'm going to hit I again. That's going to set another keyframe down here. I'm going to move this playhead out. I'm going to hit G, Z again. I'm going to have him move down here. I'm going to hit I again. And then I want this to be a perfect loop, so I want him to end right where I started. So I'm going to select these keyframes. I'm going to hit Shift D and then move that out to frame 100. And hopefully, let's see. Yep, that should make a perfect loop. All right, excellent. Okay, let's now take these coins and let's have them spin around. I want those to rotate. So I'm going to go back to frame 0. We're starting on frame 0 here. And this time I'll show you another way, another place you can animate and set keyframes from. So with these selected, this little square over here will also give you the transformation information about this thing, okay? And so we're gonna, for this one, we're gonna set the keyframes from over here instead of hitting I. So I want to rotate these in the Z axis, so it's that one. So I'm gonna start off hitting this little dot right there. That's gonna set a keyframe there at 0. And then here at frame 100, I want these to spin all the way around. So I'm going to enter 360. Enter, and there's 360 degrees in a full rotation. So that's going to make them completely spin around, hopefully. Okay. All right, there we go. So those have completely spun around. Now, let's add in, we did that. Let's scale something up and down. So we're going to take this tree and we're going to have it get bigger and then smaller. So I'm going to set a keyframe here, and then we'll go here. I'm going to hit S to scale it up, and we'll go right about there. I'm going to hit I to set the keyframe. And then just like before, I want this to be a perfect loop. So I'm going to duplicate those keyframes. And it didn't work for some reason. Let's see. I go 1. All right, I'm going to set all those. Seems like it's maybe working from over here. Put those there. And we'll set them back. Just work from over there, I guess. Okay, so again, I'm just setting those keyframes from there. Okay, so now I'm going to move this guy over this bridge. So I'm going to select him. This is going to require a bit more kind of like placement. So we'll set a keyframe there. I'm going to hit I. And then I'm going to hit G to kind of, oh, I want to make sure he's selected. I'm going to hit I. And I'm moving this ahead. Might be a little bit off. Look at it from this angle. Okay. And I'm selecting all channels there. So it kind of looks like he's going over the bridge there. Okay. Now I wanted to talk to you guys about pivot points. And so I have this treasure chest here and I want it to open up and like have the top open. But if I just rotate this now, I'll show you guys. So if I hit R and then it's in the X axis that we want it to rotate in, that doesn't look right. I want it to be rotating and pivoting from this back part, like where the hinge would be on it. And so what I need to do is move this little yellow dot, that's the pivot point. I need to move that to the edge that we're going to then have it rotate around. And I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to go here to frame 0. Okay, so what I need to do is select this cursor and then place it on that edge. And then I'm going to also turn on this snapping function. And so this snapping to the edge, this will help me basically connect it to that back edge. And then it's going to be kind of hard to see. So I'm going to hide these other objects. I'm going to go back to my selector here. So I'm going to hit H to hide this stuff. And again, I'm selecting the cursor there. And I'm going to make sure that's highlighted because that's going to help snap it to the edge there. I think that's pretty good. I'm going to look at it from the top view. That looks fine. We'll look at it from the side. Yep. And then from the front. Good. Okay. So, oh no, okay. That's one thing that once you have it set, you need to go back to the selection mode or it's going to move around again. It's going to basically go wherever you click. So, okay. Go to 3. Yes. Okay, now I'm going to go back to selection mode. That'll keep that there. And then I'm going to go to Object, Set Origin, Origin to 3D Cursor. Now that dot has moved against that back edge. And so I'm going to insert a keyframe here. I'm going to move this out and rotate it along the X axis. So I'm going to hit R, X, and then open it. And now you can see it's opening like you would expect this treasure chest to open. So I'm going to click there. That looks good. And then I'm going to hit I. We'll say all channels there. And then just like before, I'm going to copy this keyframe, the first one, so that it's a perfect loop. I'm going to hit Shift D and then move that out to frame 100 and click. And now if I scrub through, you can see that that is now opening and closing the way that I want it to. Okay. Now, I also wanted to show you guys how to animate some color. So if I have this guy selected here, I'm going to go into the shader here. And I want to animate the color as he's walking. So I'm going to hit a keyframe there. I'm going to move this forward, and then this purple is basically like the suit there. And so I'm going to change it to like this blue, and then here we'll have it be, oh, and you know what? I forgot to hit the keyframe. So blue, keyframe. Okay. Here we'll have it be like a yellow. And then we'll end it with that pink. Okay. And so you can see as he's moving through, pretty much any attribute can be animated in Blender. Okay. So definitely try animating some color. And now, last thing I want you guys to try doing is we're going to attach a movement to a curve. So we're going to have the movement of this bee follow a path. And so I've already got a curve within the scene there. I just want to add curve and then circle. And so it's already there for me there. But basically, we're going to have this bee kind of circle around. And I want it to be attaching in a circle. This is really useful for when you guys are making your animations. And if you ever want to move the camera, oftentimes people will do this. Well, they'll attach the camera to a path so that it's really smooth and the motion is smooth and it's in a perfect circle. So I'll show you how to do this. So with this bee selected, I'm going to go over here to Object Constraint. We're going to constrain it to this circle curve. So here I'm going to go to Follow Path and then choose this little eyedropper. We're going to select that circle. And then you kind of have to play with the settings. You have to hit Animate Path, and it's going to basically animate it all along the path, and it's not quite doing what I want it to do. You might have to adjust. I'm going to hit Follow Curve. There we go. That looks good. But yeah, you might have to adjust which one is the forward axis, which is the up axis, all of that stuff. Okay. All right. So definitely animate a follow path constraint. Do that. Animate a movement, rotation, and scale of each one of the, or, do at least one of each of those. Try animating a color, and then you'll need to change this pivot point to animate the treasure chest so that it's opening correctly the way that it should open. So you'll have to move that pivot point and move it to the back. So you can choose which ones you want to move and stuff, but I want you to try each one of those techniques in this practice file.